Welcome back to the What's Happening podcast. And I'm your host, Free, bringing you current events from the perspective of a lover. That's me. It's been so much going on. I have to be honest, it's been quite overwhelming. All the way from Miss Carlee Russell. For those who don't know, she's the one who faked her abduction. Well, they finally gonna put some charges on her name. They charged her with two low-level accounts of false reporting and for fabricating her abduction. And I think she's going to get about 1 year in jail with a $6,000 fine. And guess what? They still don't really know why she did it. I personally think I would count it up towards mental health. Like obviously this sister is dealing with some things mentally, emotionally. Have you guys seen the mugshot? It's literally looking like a yearbook picture, smiling and everything. You have to wonder if she even understood what's going on and what's happening because it was way too much smiling in that mugshot. Seriously. The next thing that we have here on our list is a Florida woman trying to hire a hitman to kill her 3-year-old son. Like, what in the world? You know, from my understanding, there was a website that was out there, and this gentleman actually built this website so that he can, catch these, I don't know if I should say crazies, to catch those who are trying to look for a hit. And when he saw her put in all of the information and how detailed the information was, he knew that this something's about to go down. So he tried to call the police several times. They didn't even actually take him serious at first, but then finally did. This case is ridiculous. This case is ridiculous. Let me read you a little bit more on what happened. So this woman appeared before a Miami judge Wednesday following her arrest on charges of solicitation of murder and unlawful use of a communications device. This woman visited a parody hit-for-hire website intended to assist law enforcement in an attempt to have the boy taken away, far away, as she stated, and possibly be killed. But ASAP, this Miami-Dade police said in a report, it said she was willing to pay $3,000. This woman listed wanting to get something done once and for all as the reason for hiring a hitman, the report said. Police says she provided an address where the boy lives with his grandmother, a recent photo of him, and her phone number when she made contact with the website. And a man who runs the website, the man I was telling you about, he contacted the police and the detectives tracked down the woman using the IP address and phone number provided. This is we're back to the subject of the mental health, and I don't just use the word sparingly. I'm saying like literally you're going to go on a website, type in the information to get a hit out on your toddler. Like is that the time that we in right now where you can go on a website and look for these things, which obviously not, because it was a fake website, but she obviously thought that this was something that was legit. This is this is so wild. She said the boy still lived with her and that his mother would FaceTime the child regularly. She's not to talk to the son. She's not to be nowhere near the son. The grandmother told detectives she took the photo of the boy, which was posted on the Hitman website on Monday, and sent it to her daughter. The child's mother was arrested later Tuesday at her father's house, where she had been staying. The arrest report states that she confessed, but the full statement was redacted when released to news organizations. The woman told Miami-Dade County judge that she had never been treated for any type of mental health condition. The judge set bond at $15,000 and the woman was released from jail on Thursday. All right, so, you know, mm, imagine, you know, she has not been treated for any type of mental health conditions. One thing that I would have to tell you about mental health, it's an invisible dis-ease. It's not something that you can always see right away. You know, a lot of people, I know especially a lot of my black people, are suffering with mental health. You know, through trauma, through sexual trauma. There's so many causes I couldn't even state. But guys, let's say a prayer for those out there who are looking like, you know, people could be going through something, right? And you have no idea. All right, they can be putting on a face, they putting on these picture perfect pictures, and they are suffering. They are suffering. That's why even you got to be careful how you treat people, because you just never know who is on their last ounce of mental health, last ounce of I'm about to go do myself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm it's sad, always, there's always things, the sites, there's phone numbers, there's different ways that you can contact if you're feeling like, you don't feel safe with yourself. They have many contacts in different places where you can go to get help. And but like I said, it's like a invisible dis-ease, because a lot of times a person with mental health don't even know that they have mental health. So guys, this is really sad. We are happy that this toddler is okay. We are happy that this man went and he was aware. He identified that this could be a real problem, and we're happy that she is getting I hope she's getting the help that she needs. I really do. Now, for our next clip now, we have to go into Hunter Biden. Now, not too long ago, I was just discussing with you guys about how he probably getting special treatment, and how, he did do like his deal fell through, guys. Right now, he's pleading not guilty to 2 tax crimes after agreement with the prosecutor falls through. So the last time I was here, we were talking about the deal that had went through and how happy Biden was that this was, a little bit more behind him. They've been going back and forth in court. Hunter Biden was charged last month with 2 misdemeanor tax crimes: a failure to pay more than $100,000 in taxes from over $1.5 million in income in both 2017 and 2018. And he was expected to plead guilty after he made an agreement with prosecutors who were planning to recommend 2 years of probation. That deal is now on hold. So yeah, according to the PBS NewsHour, during the hearing on Wednesday, there was a dispute in court over whether the initial agreement gave him protection against any future charges, and Biden had also been charged with possession of a firearm by a person who is a known drug user, a felony. He had a Colt Cobra, they say, a 38. For 11 days in October 2018, he had agreed to enter into a diversion agreement, which means that he would not technically plead guilty to the crime, as long as he adhered to the terms of his agreement. This case would be wiped from his record. You hear that? Some funny business. If not, the deal would have been withdrawn, and the charges carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. So it just, I don't really know what to say about this. It was meant to clear the air for Hunter Biden, but instead, this thing has gotten extremely messy. So Hunter Biden will remain under active investigation, and they're not going to reveal a whole lot of details. Now, I remember you guys, I was telling you about how Russia was pulling out of the Black Sea grain deal. But update on that, we have Russia giving six countries free grain, about 25 to 50, I believe, how much? 50,000 metric tons of free grain to, if I can remember correctly, I believe it was Somalia, Mali, Central African Republic. Um, let's see, who else was it? I believe we have Zimbabwe. I think I said Mali and Eritrea. Eritrea. I never know if I'm saying that correctly. About 25 to 50,000 tons of free grain, each in the next 3 to 4 months. All right, so last year Russia exported 60 million tons of grain, of which 48 million was wheat. All right, and he has said, he has told the African leaders this past Thursday that he would gift them tens of thousands of tons of grain despite Western sanctions, which he actually called it illegal sanctions, which he said made it harder for Moscow to export its grain and fertilizers. Speaking at a Russia-African summit in St. Petersburg, Putin said Russia was ready to replace Ukrainian grain exports to Africa on both a commercial and aid basis to fulfill what he said was Moscow's critical role in global food security. So, he's saying, I shouldn't say that Russia is right or wrong. It acted for its own reasons. Now we need to hear them in order to try to move forward. This statement came from the African Union. So allegedly, Putin was putting in this extra work and trying to get Africa on his side, against the West, allegedly, so he was, trying to make sure that he wasn't causing more problems by removing himself from the Black Sea grain deal. So he still was, trying to give grain over to the African countries. But even they are still very, very wanting him to really. They want him to chill out. They want him to chill out. 17 African leaders continued meetings this past Friday in St. Petersburg as the leaders urged Putin to follow their peace plan to end the war in Ukraine. Meanwhile, Putin promised the six African nations he would provide them with free Russia grain, as we had mentioned. Putin stated, "Our country will continue supporting needy states and regions, in particular, with its humanitarian deliveries. We seek to actively participate in building a fair system of distribution of resources. We are taking maximum efforts to avert a global food crisis." Putin said this when he was addressing the conference attended by nearly 50 African leaders and officials. "I have already said that our country can replace Ukrainian grain, both on a commercial basis and as a grand aid to the neediest African countries, more so since we expect another record harvest this year." To be honest, when I heard him saying he was shipping grain to six African countries, my mind was like, that's it? That's it? Like, give thanks that he's sending the grain to Burkina Faso, to Zimbabwe, give thanks, send it to Mali and Somalia and Eritrea and the Central African Republic. But I believe that there's just still so much more that is needing this. In fact, I believe a lot of African countries feel like, what? What about me? And yes, what about them? Six countries. But all right, we're not. I'm just here to bring you the news. Last but not least, we're going to address, briefly about this Barbie movie. And I'm not going to go too deep because, I couldn't even finish the whole entire show. But I can tell you that, yes, I do think that there was some form of agenda with this here. Did they forget that this is a PG-13 show? Okay, it's supposed to be meant for children, but it's not really for children because they spent most of their time trying to talk about how they don't need men, and they're going to say a lot of things about how the story really is about, a woman being a woman could be complicated and messy and but it's like a naive way about the way that the real world works. It's a really naive way of going about how the real world works, and it encourages women to support one another, to be free of the many standards thrust upon them. But uh mm, they really made this movie more political than anything. And that's why I say that I don't really feel like it was like for kids. You know, it was more on a heavy side. Like they're really trying to push an agenda. And that's just based off of what I've saw so far. There have been so many reactions for this Barbie movie. But one thing that I really don't like is anytime someone tries to address this agenda, you have ones who say, "Oh, you're so mad. It's just a Barbie movie. Oh, you're getting mad over a Barbie movie." Like, you're really trying to downplay people's legitimate questions that they have about the movie, and this whole agenda about, and I see it as separation, this whole agenda about placing the man against the woman, I don't like it. I don't like it, not even one bit. I believe that we do need each other, and there is so much importance to having relationships, and it's like they want to just break down the whole relationship vibe. They pushing this whole agenda of independence and independence. Okay, we do need each other. Okay, we do. Men play a significant role in society, the same way that women plays a significant role in society. But it's not something that has to be a competition. That's the part that's just throwing me for a loop, because I'm an old-fashioned girl. I'm an old-fashioned girl. I love a man's man. I love a masculine man. I love a man who takes pride in being a man. And I just don't like the whole trying to compete like equal. Like, let's not go into how deep this can really be, but I can just tell you that um there's some things that a man can do that a woman cannot do. All right, the same way that there's some things that a woman can do that a man cannot do. And I think it's okay to respect these things and not look at it like you have to put down the other one in order to feel good in your skin and feel good about the things that make us who we are. That's as far as I'm gonna go with that, but not impressed. Not impressed with this Barbie movie. Not impressed at all. Not impressed with the whole agenda. Um, we're not even going to talk much about the feminists, but the agenda that's going down with the feminists right now it's just it doesn't look good. For women, natural women. Should I even call it natural women? Because it ain't about a look. It's just a woman who understands her place, understands who she is. And it doesn't mean that you can't be all that you want to be as far as, um, I don't even know how to go deep into that. Me, myself, I feel very very empowered of being a woman, but I also love the support and the love and the difference of thinking from my man. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like if you don't be who I need you to be, then you're off. You know what I'm saying? That type of mentality that we're trying to introduce into the society, where a person has to be exactly what you need them to be. I think that I think it's false. I think it's taking us in a direction where people are being too. Uh, can people have boundaries, please? Can people stick to their boundaries and it be okay without it having to step on somebody else's toes. Like, people have to understand you are free to choose what you want to choose, and if you don't want something, you're free to choose that. You're free, you have the choice to leave, or you have the choice to verbally let that person know, and then they have the choice of whether they want to build with you or whether they feel like, hey, this doesn't work for me. So without going too deep into all of that, I just gotta say, we're gonna wrap it up. That is a lot of news for today. We're gonna come back around because there's still so much happening. Like, we didn't even touch on the gentleman who, Lord of mercy, the gentleman who prepared for a date. Maybe we'll touch on it a little bit. This gentleman prepared for a date, and the woman that he's been talking to for weeks did not show up. And there's a viral video going around where this gentleman is just crying, saying like he's just trying to find his person. And the reactions, oh my Lord, depending on who you are, you're either going to laugh or you're going to be like, oh Lord, it is sad, but men know, men understand what's going on, men see what's going on, and that's why they're spending more time on themselves. That's why they're putting more effort into going to the gym or going more effort into the things that they love, because the culture and the fight that's going on with women right now is pretty massive. It's massive because we have a lot of infiltration going on. And the natural woman, and when I say natural woman, I mean all women who really understand what being a woman is, and not being afraid to really say like, yeah, yeah, these things make me a woman. Yeah, this is what makes us a woman, and not have people try to break these things down and try to compartmentalize it, like it hasn't been this natural way forever. But like I said, I'll leave all of that to you to go in and investigate yourself and to see what I'm talking about, because it's all right there and it's in front of our face. All right, so this is your host, Free, at What's Happening Live podcast. Make sure you go to our Instagram and you go and you follow us and you see all the updates at What's Happening Live podcast on IG, and go look us up on YouTube at What's Happening Live podcast as well. And if you can't find us, just type in Free Body Soul Talks. Okay? So, enjoy the rest of your night. We'll be back with some more of the current events. Peace.